the peaceful village of Mazioko, traditions were more than just rules, they were lifelines. The people believed that their ancestors had passed down the laws to keep harmony between the living and the spirits. The most sacred of these laws concerned the Oganju Tree, a towering wonder with golden leaves and silver fruits that sparkled under the sun. The elders told tales of how the tree was a gift from the gods. Its fruit had immense power, and if anyone dared to eat them, the spirits would unleash their punishment upon the village. The rule was simple: look but never touch. Amina, a courageous and strong young woman, often watched the tree from a distance. She would sit on a rock nearby, her wide eyes following the way the wind rustled the golden leaves. "Why can't we eat the fruit?" she asked her best friend Ikene one afternoon. "They say the fruit is not meant for human," Ikene replied. His voice was low. "It belongs to the spirits." "But have you ever wondered what it tastes like?" Amina pressed. Ikene shook his head firmly. "Some things are better left unknown, Amina. The last person who ate it, well, you have heard the stories." Amina stared nonchalantly. "Stories to scare children. What if it is just a myth?" Ikene frowned but said nothing. He knew better than argue with Amina when her curiosity was ready to unfold. One fateful afternoon, the villagers were busy preparing for the New Yam festival. The square bustled with activity, and no one noticed Amina slipping away toward the Oganju tree. The tree stood tall and majestic, its liver fruit gleaming like treasures. Amina's heart raced as she approached. She looked around to ensure no one was watching. The silence was heavy, broken only by the rustling leaves. She reached out hesitantly, her finger brushing against the smooth skin of a fruit. "Just a bite, just one bite," she whispered to herself. Her hand trembled as she plucked the fruit. For a moment she hesitated, then taking a deep breath, she sank her teeth into it. The taste was beyond anything she had ever imagined. Sweet, rich, and almost magical. If you are yet to subscribe to this channel, please kindly subscribe, as this will encourage us to post more amazing stories like this. Thank you. But as she swallowed, the sky above darkened unnaturally fast. A cold wind swept through the village, and the ground beneath her feet seemed to tremble. Amina dropped the half-eaten fruit and ran back to the village. That evening, the village elders noticed strange occurrences. The river, once full and clear, had turned muddy and begun to dry up. Crops in the field withered overnight, and livestock refused to eat or drink. The villagers gathered at the square. Their faces grew with fear. Baba Olotu, the chief elder, stepped forward. His voice was grave as he addressed the crowd. "The spirits are angry," he said. "Someone has broken the sacred rule of Oganju." Gasps rippled through the crowd. The villagers exchanged nervous glances, wondering who among them had dared to dare the spirits. Amina stood at the back. She was nervous, her heart pounding. She kept her head down, hoping no one would suspect her. But strange things began to happen wherever she went. Plants started following in shadows as she walked past, and children whispered that her shadow looked darker than usual. Soon the whisper grew louder. "Amina," someone cried. "It's her!" All eyes turned to her. Baba Olotu piercing settled on Amina, and she felt her knees weakened. "Is it true?" he asked. "Did you eat the forbidden fruit?" Amina's voice trembled. I didn't mean to. I thought she have brought a curse upon us." Baba Olotu thundered. "The spirit demand justice. You must journey into the forest of the shadows and seek their forgiveness. If you fail, the entire village will suffer." Amina was given a small bag of supply and sent into the forest alone. The villagers watched in silence as she disappeared into the thick undergrowth. The forest was unlike anything Amina had imagined. The tree seems to whisper, their twisted branches reaching out like claws. Shadows danced in the corners of her vision, and strange sounds echoed around her. After hours of walking, she came across a clearing where an old woman sat by a fire. The woman's face was wrinkled like dried fruit, but her eyes sparkled with wisdom. "Who are you and why are you here?" the woman asked. "My name is Amina," she replied. "I broke a sacred rule and now I must seek the spirit forgiveness." The old woman nodded. "Ha! The Oganju. Many have come here before you, child, but few return. The spirit do not forgive easily." "What must I do?" Amina asked, her voice trembling. The woman handed her a horn. "Drink from this when the path seems unclear. It will guide you. But remember, the spirit will test your heart. Be truthful and humble, or you will not survive." Amina continued her journey and soon came to a terrified spot. As she stepped inside, the air grew heavy, and a chorus of voices surrounded her. "Why did you eat the forbidden fruit?" the spirit demanded, their forms glowing like the silver fruit of the Oganju. Amina fell to her knees. "I was curious. I thought the rules were just stories. I didn't mean to bring harm to my people." "Your curiosity was selfish," the spirit said. "You ignored the wisdom of your elders and endangered your village. To undo this course, you must prove your remorse." The spirit showed her three visions: her family suffering, her younger siblings cried as the crops failed and food became scarce, the village in ruin, houses collapsing as the ground cracked and rivers dried up. Then her own reflection. Amina saw herself surrounded by darkness, her hands stained with the silver juice of the forbidden fruit. "You must make a sacrifice," the spirit said. "Only then will the balance be restored." "What did you want from me?" Amina asked. The spirit voices rang out in unison. "Your voice, the very tools you use to question. Without it, you will understand the value of silence and obedience." Amina hesitated. Her voice was her identity, her pride. But as she thought of her family and the village, she knew what she had to do. "I accept," she said. The spirit spoke around her, and a blinding light filled the cave. When it faded, Amina tried to speak, but no sound came out. She clenched her throat, tears streamed down her face. When Amina emerged from the forest, the villagers was waiting anxiously. The moment they saw her, the sky cleared, and the air grew fresh. Rivers flowed again, crops stood tall, and animals frolicked happily. The villagers cheered, but Amina could not join in their joy. She tried to explain what had happened, but no words came out. Instead, she knelt before Baba Olotu, her hands gesturing to the heavens. Baba Olotu understood. "Amina has made a great sacrifice for us," he said. "Let her story serve as a reminder of the consequences of disobedience." Although Amina could no longer speak, she found new ways to communicate. She taught the children of the village using gestures and writing in the sound, ensuring they understood the importance of respecting traditions and the wisdom of their elders. Her silence became a powerful lesson, and her story was passed down for generations. Curiosity is natural, but when it leads to disobedience, it can cause harm to others. True redemptions often require humility, sacrifice, and a willingness to accept the consequences of our own actions. If you enjoyed this story, please like, share with family and friends, and do not forget to subscribe. Thank you.